Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Younib TV News at 1. My name is Joseph Kamau. Today being the 5th of December 2025, we have an array of stories prepared for you covering from political issues, county affairs, social matters and much more here on Younib TV. But before we delve deeper into the news, let's first have the highlights.
The media to be responsible and to stop open bias. On Sunday, I said that DCP is in talks with Wiper and other parties in the United Opposition.
The framework we signed today adds momentum to my administration's universal health coverage that is focused on supply of modern equipment to our hospitals, efficient and timely delivery of health commodities to our facilities, enhancement of our health workforce, and health insurance for all living no.
The government of Kenya is proposing to sell Safaricom PLC the 15% stake at 34 shillings. Kenyans need to know that Safaricom shares were trading at an average of 45 shillings in 2021. Valuing Safaricom.
Welcome to the broadcast. Now, President William Ruto observed the signing of 1.6 billion shillings investment in Kenya, which will span in the next 5 years. This funding is intended to bolster the systems of Kenyan government, including SHA and KEMSA and many others government institutions utilizing G2G modalities. Additionally, the agreement encompasses a collaborative multi-year transition and co-financing strategy for laboratory systems, surveillance, workshop and commodities. As part of this plan, 512 laboratory personnel and more than 13,000 health workers are set to be integrated into the Kenyan government by 2028. Previously, President William Ruto had met with IMF officials to explore methods for enhancing Kenya's economic stability.
The framework we signed today adds momentum to my administration's universal health coverage that is focused on supply of modern equipment to our hospitals, efficient and timely delivery of health commodities to our facilities, enhancement of our health workforce, and health insurance for all leaving no Kenyan behind.
And what it means is that money is not just going to be spent to provide medicine and care, it's going to be spent to improve the domestic infrastructure, healthcare infrastructure, so that in 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years, countries will say, we no longer need this much assistance, if any, because we have our own system, you've helped us to build it, it's now delivering results, and in fact, we now, these third, like maybe Kenya, want to go and teach other countries how to do it.
Now to matters politics. Opposition leaders are expressing concern that the increasing instances of goonism and violence during elections must be promptly addressed to protect Kenya's democracy. During the funeral of former Mboni Member of Parliament Joseph Munyao in Makueni County, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, DAPK leader Eugene Wamalwa, and Democratic Party leader Justin Muturi warned that the recent by-elections, which were plagued by disorder, serve as a clear indication that electoral reforms are critically needed in preparation for 2027. The funeral became briefly tense when Labour Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua faced heckling while delivering the President's condolences message, prompting presiding Archbishop Dr. Timothy Ndambuki to intervene and soothe the audience. The opposition leaders commemorated Munyao as a statesman dedicated to peace and democracy.
They brought out their very worst in this region by elections. We now know their game plan. There are no other games to play. And this country cannot be like any other country. Our brother, a senior brother, governor, professor, because professor said the students are telling him they don't want Kenya to be like Tanzania. Kenya will always be Kenya, because our young people have inspired a progressive revolution, not even in the continent, but the world over. And they've been watching. And you cannot steal from them.
Violence during election time is a terrible violation of the electoral laws. It actually defeats the essence of the constitutional right to vote. And therefore, when we point at those mistakes, we are actually trying to address the point that my teacher, Professor Peninah, said, the young people whom he's talking to every day are telling us, don't let our country go the Tanzania way.
The democracy that Munyao fought for with Kibaki and his team, the team that brought the second liberation in this country, the team that brought back multi-party democracy at great sacrifice, that democracy is in great peril. If we cannot allow free and fair elections in our country, then the democracy that we now fought for is in great danger, even as we barricade here in Bowen today.
The politics we witnessed in the by-election, the politics we saw in the by-election, should be condemned with all the voices. Kwa sababu, violence cannot become part and parcel of our election process. The minister in charge of internal security cannot be the one to announce about who lives and who doesn't live a polling station. Hiyo ni kazi ya mtu ambaye anaitwa chairman wa electoral.
Now, the government has prohibited a minimum of 400 fraudulent overseas job recruitment agencies that have been involved in deceiving Kenyans or placing them in non-existent jobs abroad. Officials characterize this as action as one of the most vigorous efforts to combat fraudulent labor agents in recent years.
Ask our job seekers, our youths, that let us utilize the recruitment agencies that are registered with the National Employment Authority. When you want to confirm, you go to the National Employment Authority website, that's www.naims.go.ke, and find out whether a recruitment agency is licensed or not licensed. Because when you use a licensed recruitment agencies, we are able to trace and see whether you are doing well wherever you are going to do the job, so that we are able to monitor that your welfare is well taken care of. Otherwise, if you use shortcuts to go abroad, because there are people who use tourist visa and then they go and they get stuck. So it becomes very difficult for the government to trace when there is a challenge with them. So I want to ask them that use registered agencies that are licensed by the National Employment.
Now, Kiharu MP Didi Nyoro asserts that the proposed sale of government shares in Safaricom has been undervalued, claiming that the National Treasury is underselling these shares. The former budget chair in the National Assembly warns that Kenyans will incur financial losses from this sale, stating that the Treasury failed to adequately negotiate on behalf of the citizens and was primarily focused on activating the infrastructure fund, disregarding the interest of taxpayers.
The government of Kenya is proposing to sell Safaricom PLC, the 15% stake, at 34 shillings. Kenyans need to know that Safaricom shares were trading at an average of 45 shillings in 2021, valuing Safaricom PLC at 1.8 trillion Kenya shillings in 2021. And of course, that is before Safaricom even invested in Ethiopia, an investment that is actually becoming a very good decision for Safaricom. And what I just want to say is that the people who are on the other side of the table in this negotiation of the sale, and especially the people from the National Treasury. They are either self-interested, incompetent, or both.
Well, we are going to take a short break. We will be right back with more news update here on Younib TV.
Ever the best. Hallelujah.
Welcome back. Thank you for keeping it Younib TV. This is Younib TV News at 1. Now, the Media Council of Kenya, MCK, has denounced former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua for what it described as reckless and perilous assaults on journalists and the broader media community during a public event on Wednesday. In a statement, MCK cautioned that Gachagua's comments constitute intimidation and represent a significant threat to media freedom and the safety of journalists.
The media to be responsible and to stop open bias. On Sunday, I said that DCP is in talks with Wiper and other parties in the United Oppositions, and we have looked at the formula in Nairobi, regional composition, party loyalties, and past performances. You people from the newspapers, report correctly. Don't twist narratives so that you can help William Ruto to spew nonsense.
Now, the relatives of Caroline Mukiria, who has been missing for over 6 weeks, are requesting an independent investigation into the location of their daughter. They assert that the police inquiries have come to a standstill with no significant progress since her vanishing. According to the police, in the weeks that followed, they have struggled to obtain what they described as adequate information regarding the case.
Tunangoja, tunaenda, tumetembea mamochari, kukanyaga miri, kufungua miri, hatumuoni. Tumeenda mistuni, tumeenda mito.
Tunalia, hatulali usingizi, tunachoka.
Serikali mara mingi tunasikia ya kwamba mtu anaweza potea kama siku moja, 2, 3, lakini anapatikana. Sisi tunaanza kujiuliza hivi, kwa sababu gani huyu Caroline? Kwa sababu tangu apotee ni kama miezi 2 inaenda kuisha. Kwa sababu gani yeye achapatikana?
Pata sleepless nights, sio rahisi manake unajaribu kufikiria bila yako huyo mtoto unashindwa. Afadhali hata nionyeshwe kama amekufa, nijue amekufa. Ama kama ako hai nitafurahi.
Now let's head to matters counties. Now in Kakamega County, Ikolomani, tensions are high following a day of intense confrontation between law enforcement officers and local residents, resulting in 3 fatalities and 25 police officers sustaining minimum injuries. A public participation forum organized by the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, aimed at discussing a proposed gold extraction project by a private investor, descended into chaos when unruly youth armed with makeshift weapons obstructed the road leading to Musali Mixed Day and Boarding Senior School and assaulted the convoy. Numerous journalists were also harmed during the clashes, which caused significant damage to the school.
Wanatuua bila hatia, na kama sisi hakuna shamba ya serikali hapa, shamba ni yetu, watu wachie nafasi yetu. Sisi hatutaki mambo mengi, kama huyu msungu aende.
Nilisaliwa hapa, nitakufia hapa, sitahama. Tumekataa. Waje watuue.
Walisema mambo ilikuwa tatu: community, serikali na Neema. Walisema kati ya hao watu watatu, kama community imekataa, kazi wezi kufanyika. Sasa sisi community tumekataa. Hatutaki kwa sababu hatukukubaliana vile tulitaka.
Sisi hatutaki maneno ya shanda. Kwa vile tukikaribisha shanda tutakula wapi? Hakuna maneno kama hiyo. Mimi kama mama nakula kwa karai, nakula kwa ponje. Hakuna maneno ya mashini.
Nimetoka Migori, nimekuja kufanya biashara hapa ili niweze kulisha watoto wangu juu mimi ni mjane, na sasa hao wanataka kutunyang'anya shamba, na watu wote Waluya wataenda kuishi wapi?
Innocent person cannot go and destroy a school where children acquire knowledge. I think this must be fellows with a very ill motive in the community. And I want to assure the public that we will want to pursue the perpetrators of this heinous act to the logical end and ensure that they are brought to book.
Well, that news from Ikolomani in Kakamega County wraps our Younib TV news at one live coverage. We thank you for your engagement and your decision to stay informed. We will continue to deliver the latest updates as they arise. For more stories and in-depth coverage, please stay tuned or visit our social media platforms and website at www.younibtv.com. On behalf of the entire Younib team at Younib TV, have yourself a lovely afternoon.